Was Jesus a racist? Every time I hear the story of the Syrophoenician woman's encounter with Jesus that we read about in the 7th chapter of Mark, I'm shocked. You see, Jesus goes into this house, and Mark tells us that he doesn't want anyone to know he's there, but as seems typical, Jesus doesn't do a very good job of hiding. So this woman hears that Jesus is there, and she comes to him and bows down before him, lowers herself at his feet, and begs him to cast out the demon possessing her daughter. But there's a problem, because this isn't just any ordinary woman. This is a Syrophoenician woman, a non-Jewish woman, a Gentile. And apparently this is a problem for Jesus, as he says to her, "Let the children be fed first. It isn't fair to take the food from the children and throw it to the dogs." Shocked. Jesus just uttered a racial slur. Now, of course, we want to try and soften these words to explain how our all-loving, radically inclusive Lord could have said such a thing. And there's actually a lot of disagreement between scholars and interpreters. Some people believe that Jesus was just testing her faith, thinking, well, maybe he was winking at her and she's kind of in on the joke. While other people say that the word that Jesus uses for dog is actually diminutive, meaning more of a puppy or a pet, as if that would reduce the sting of the insult. See, it makes more sense contextually to understand that at this point, Jesus really does believe that his ministry and his message are just for the Israelites. It makes more sense to think about Jesus as being fully human, as living into an identity that he was taught and raised to embody, one that taught him to be thankful every day that he was born a Jew and born a man. And yet, that exclusion exposes Jesus' own social location and the rightly named racism of the culture that promotes injustice. Or as David Henson, Reverend, says, this is the great lesson of the Syrophoenician woman. It teaches us the dynamics of racism, that even the best of humanity, the incarnation himself, could get caught up in the systems of oppression, in a culture of supremacy. And for me, all the more important are this woman's words and Jesus's reaction. He listens to her, hears her, and sees her for her faith. And Jesus changes. And he boldly acts to share God's wonderful love that crosses all boundaries and all divisions and any hierarchies, and yes, goes beyond social oppression. And this is the lesson for us, to acknowledge our own social location, our own privileges, and to acknowledge our own role in systemic racism, to hear the stories of those who are oppressed, and yes, to be changed, so that we too can act boldly in the name of Jesus and share God's awesome love with all the world. I look forward to seeing you in worship.